Hey everyone, this is Brian. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for joining me today. We're going to cover in this video 6 key relationship skills from DBT. In case it's your first exposure to DBT, DBT is short for dialectical behavioral therapy, which is how I like to describe it, is that it's a healing modality that combines strategies like mindfulness, acceptance, and emotion regulation. Today I'll be exploring some material from something called the Dialectical Behavior Therapy Skills Workbook, which I'll have linked in the description, thanks to the authors Matthew McKay et al. Let's jump right in. So first, I'll say broadly about interpersonal effective skills. Interpersonal effectiveness skills, as they're called, or as I like to think of them, relationship skills. It's a combination of social skills training, assertiveness training, listening skills, and the ability to negotiate. And from there, we've kind of wrapped those into 6 core relationship skills that can really help us change how our relationships feel for the better. And so let's explore them together. The first one is knowing what you want. And this is an interesting question. How do we know what we want in our relationships? In some cases, I should say, we can sense a desire or a yearning. That's one way I experience it, at least, is a desire for connection. And then there can also be a lack or a discomfort. Something we're feeling that we kind of want to relieve. I think here the key is to pay attention and look for a way to describe in your own mind and body, in our own minds and bodies, what you're feeling. I like to use the felt sense meditation for this, which we've done a video on. And so that's number 1, knowing what you want and finding out ways to describe and articulate that. Moving to number 2, asking for what you want in a way that protects the relationship. And in later videos, we'll really explore this asking for what we want assertively and gently. However, I'd like to say now that the basic idea, I think, is to put our words and our requests, speak them and have body language that is kind of clear and gentle. So yeah, clarity and not attacking. Sometimes it's described like that. I like to put it in the positive and say like clear and gentle. And I think both of them together are very strong. And also a lot of times that they'll talk about in the book, asking for something specific, a specific behavioral change. And sometimes, depending on context, of course, we need to modulate the gentleness. But even if something is very firm, I think it can still not be attacking. So I think that's what I'm really driving at when I say gentle. And I think the clarity really can help with that as well. So clear and not attacking. For number 2, asking for what you want. Now I want to progress to number 3, which is negotiating conflicting wants. The very willingness to negotiate, I think, starts with a commitment that there's not going to be like winners and losers. It's like not a zero-sum game where one person gets love and the other person doesn't get love. One person gets their needs met and the other person doesn't get their needs met. It kind of assumes just the willingness to negotiate that our needs are valid, first of all, both parties, and understandable. And it, however, also draws on a willingness to compromise so that each person can get at least some of what they want out of the encounter. And, in this workbook and in our videos on DBT, and also in maybe this is a good time to plug our peer-to-peer mutual aid group that explores DBT skills together from the workbook and from other sources for free. If you want to learn more about that free peer mutual aid group, please look in the description at our Facebook group and join us. And we'll be exploring this negotiation in great detail. But for now, let's go to number 4, which is getting information. One of the most, I think, crucial of all interpersonal skills is finding out what is it that we need, or what our partner needs, or what our friends need, or what our family members need, what their fears, their hopes, and so on actually are. There are a few that I'm going to list off here, major blocks to getting information that are commonly repeating. The first block is that when we can falsely assume that we know what the other person wants, so we're like mind reading and maybe thinking about what they should want, etc. Two, this idea of like projection. So sometimes it's so easy. I do this a lot with my partner and with other people in my life that I have a deep fear of judgment. So sometimes I see judgment when it's not really, especially intentionally happening, not even happening at all. But that can seem really real to me. So that can be really, really difficult when it comes to finding out what people need if we're projecting fears onto them, or feelings or memories we've had or certain needs that we have. So keep that in mind. Three, this is an interesting one, a fear of like prying in and like asking too much. That can be a major block to getting information. Four, there can be a fear of hearing a really bad answer or something that doesn't feel good. The worst of all possible answers if we ask about what's going on. And five, just not knowing how to ask or what to look for. And again, we will be exploring the great thing about the DBT skills workbook is they go into great detail on all of these. We're just giving kind of an overview here. Five, saying no, specifically in a way that protects the relationship. So there are a few ways, specifically 3 ways to say no from the DBT skills workbook. And one, in what they call a limp, powerless style that is just easy to override. The second way they talk about it is in a hard-edged, aggressive style that is very alienating to people. Or 3, in an assertive style that validates the other person's needs and desires while setting firm boundaries around what you will and won't do. And so what they think is that the first 2 strategies undermine relationships because someone is going to end up feeling controlled and resentful. And they like the third strategy and talk about different ways to implement that and kind of integrate that into our relating styles. Okay, and then lastly, acting, this is one I really like. Number 6, acting according to our values. So being either passive or aggressive in a relationship works to diminish both our self-respect and the self-respect of others because someone is losing out in the relationship. Someone's needs and feelings are being ignored, and that's what they mean by losing out. So being clear about how you want to treat others is a critical step to interpersonal effectiveness. We could ask ourselves here, what type of relationships do I actually want with other people? Do you want a loving relationship? Do we want a loving relationship, a trustworthy relationship, or a committed relationship? And that's just something we have to think about. So what I'll say lastly is that acting in our relationships according to what we value is a really crucial step and can really set a strong foundation when it comes to the nature of our relationships. I've noticed that when I don't have a strong foundation, it doesn't tend to work out very well. And however, by like building, like I do with my partner now, setting intentions for certain values of like openness and trust and non-defensiveness, setting those as intentions and using them to build the relationship, building our relationship on that foundation leads to really, really nice outcomes. And so with that said, those are the 6 core interpersonal skills: knowing what you want, asking for what you want, negotiating conflicting wants, getting information, saying no, and acting according to our values. And with that, I already plugged the Facebook group. Please join it. We meet on Saturday mornings, Eastern, 10 a.m. Eastern time, and Monday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern time. We'd love to have you there. You can learn more about that in the group. And then also, if you like this kind of videos, please do like and subscribe. So one, you can get the updates about all the great DBT content we're doing and other types of content. And also so other people can benefit from this material. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a really, really fantastic day. And please do let me know in the comments what you think of these interpersonal skills. Are there any you really want to work on? Are there any that are really resonating with you? Is there any nuance that you want to add? If so, please do comment. Thanks so much. I hope you have a great day.